Hello and howdy there. A couple days ago, I watched the new film from the Wachowski siblings and Tom Twyker, Cloud Atlas. And I don't really know what to say. You know, I'm still kind of boggled by this whole thing I watched. Okay, it's about 6 interconnecting storylines. I believe it's 6. 6 interconnecting storylines that connect humanity through a huge expanse of time, through love, through justice, through... Well, I suppose love and justice is primarily, I thought, the main 2 themes. Basically, what is right in the world, and how kindness can, and hatred, how kindness and hatred can affect generations to come without us even knowing it. A butterfly effect, if you will, of hope and hate. It's very complex. Again, I almost feel like I need to see it 2 times to offer like a full, like, educated opinion, just because honestly my mind was reeling for half the film, and even for the half where my mind wasn't reeling, it was still overwhelmed. So it's definitely something you need to, see more than once, pick apart a little bit, analyze, just because you're taking in so much. First off, the film is practically 3 hours. And again, I have no problem with long films. This only felt long, a little bit. It was almost, though there's no distinct, line for me, line of demarcation. There's a distinct point when everything kind of gelled for me, and I got it. I felt it. But the first half, I'm just wondering what is going on. And I felt a little lost, felt a little bored. On a side note, also, the reason I kind of want to see it again is the first half of the film was marred by 2 humans a few rows back of me. Did not stop talking. I mean, did not stop talking. People moved away from them. I mean, they were terribly awful people. And, if you can turn around in your seat and stare at someone and they don't shut up, well, then you're just going to have to move, because they obviously have no common decency about them. And I'd say 45 minutes into the film, they just kept on saying, "Oh, this is stupid. This is stupid. I have no idea what's going on. I hate this. This is bad. It's just stupid." And I wanted to yell at them. I wanted to yell at them to leave, and that they were ruining the experience for every other person in the theater. That they were somehow oblivious to this. Actually, what I wanted to do was take my giant water and just to pour it on them. I thought that would have gotten my point across quite easily. Luckily, they came to their senses, and instead of sitting there for the other 2 hours, they got up and they left. So luckily, they left. So I almost feel like I can't offer a unbiased opinion, just because for that first 45 minutes to an hour, I was filled with white-hot rage and thinking of how I could get rid of these people and what I could do to them to, make them shut their mouths. So I was distracted. But after they left, and after my rage had ebbed, I focused more on the film and got more into it. So I almost kind of feel like I need to see it again to offer an unbiased opinion. I feel like I should give it a 7, Part of me wants to give it a 6, but I think it's definitely worthy of a 7. And again, the only reason I feel I need to see it again, which again is a fine line between a 7 and 8 for me. If I see a movie that I know I gotta see again, I know it's an 8. Here I only feel I need to see it again because I want to understand it more, and I want a more enjoyable experience, an audience experience. I did get bored. I thought some of the acting was a little hammy here and there. And I mean just here and there, not a lot, but it's definitely kind of cheesy in parts, a little slow. Again, it doesn't waste any time explaining anything to you. It just throws you into this world, into these worlds, and expects you to catch up, to be vigilant, to pay attention, and to understand what the hell is going on. And if you don't want to pay attention, then you're not going to enjoy the experience at all. But if you pay attention to the subtleties, if you see the connections between the stories, then all of a sudden, honestly, it becomes kind of a powerful experience. That's kind of what I'm trying to say, to get to, is at the first hour of the film, I'm kind of lost. I'm wondering what the hell's going on. I'm meeting all of these characters throughout all of these time periods, extremely different time periods. And then in the second hour, it's like, then maybe I got a little bored just because of all the exposition and trying to get all of these 6 different stories to, their climax. So it's like doing all of the work, all of the, the hard work, all of the paying attention, all of the, the thinking comes in that second hour. And then the last 45 minutes is almost this euphoric realization of the stories that you've, become a part of. And there's no other word for it. It became a powerful experience for me. I was almost, I'll be honest, I almost cried. It became an emotional, because again, this is a love story. It is about love and doing what is right and, fighting for that human spirit. It's about important things. And it became kind of emotionally overwhelming. And I really got into it in that last 45 minutes. But you got to get to that last 45 minutes. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, this is the new film from the Wachowski siblings. Used to be the Wachowski brothers. Larry changed himself into Lana, as he felt he was always a woman. So now they are the Wachowski siblings. They're responsible for the Matrix trilogy, the great film Bound, the not-so-great film Speed Racer. Have they made a film since Speed Racer? I don't think so. But anyway, after you make the Matrix trilogy, and for better or worse affect pulp culture for, future time, you're going to have the money and the artistic freedom to do whatever you want to do. And what they wanted to do was make this film that comes from a novel of the same name. Apparently, as I am not a reader, the novel was heretofore just called unfilmable. That how could you make a movie? It's funny to me. I thought about Cosmopolis, this year's David Cronenberg film. Which also comes from an unfilmable novel. So we've seen 2 films this year come from unfilmable novels, which I think is interesting. And I could definitely see how, that must have been just a huge undertaking to get this from page to screen. But that's what the Wachowskis wanted to do. And they could. They apparently needed some help from Tom Twyker, who I only know from Run Lola Run. If he's done some other work, I'm not familiar with it. Apparently, from watching the credits, they divided up, they wrote it together, the Wachowskis with Twyker from the novel, and then divided up pretty much evenly, 3 stories, since there are 6 timelines here, 6 stories. They pretty much split it down the middle. Twyker took 3, the Wachowskis took 3, and I think the cinematographers were the same across the board, but basically they were responsible for the direction of their 3 segments. So it's basically like 2 filmmakers coming together to make this giant epic. I really, even though they tell you in the credits who directed what segment, while you're watching it, you really can't tell, or at least I couldn't tell if the Wachowskis were doing something. I mean, I had an inkling that they were doing the neo-soul futuristic stuff, but I didn't know. I didn't know that they just split it up by segments. I thought maybe they just, whoever was there that day did the work. But apparently they just committed to different segments. So with that power that the Wachowskis bring and the artistic freedom, they definitely, this is a singular expression. They wanted to make this story, and it does explore a lot of the same themes as their Matrix trilogy, which is fine. They obviously care a lot about philosophy and the afterlife and the metaphysical. They hit upon that a lot. Also, that Wachowski style comes, the zooming camera work. Everything in this film is absolutely beautiful. The costume design. You're in 6 very different time periods. They, take you to that, through set design, through costumes. You're there. Technically, everything you look at in this film visually is beautiful. The music is great. Again, anything you could experience visually, orally is fantastic. Everyone is so beautiful in this film. The Wachowskis, man, they have good taste in women. They have good taste in women. The film is just chock full of beautiful women. In fact, it almost kind of took me out of it, because I was like, there are like, semi-unattractive women in this world. Every woman in this world is not, an Asian supermodel. And it became like stressing for me. It's like, God, can I go 2 seconds without seeing something painfully beautiful, please? Can I have a moment's rest before you agonize me with your beauty? So it's just gorgeous to look at, and all of the people in it are beautiful. Even the makeup, is just too perfect. It all looks fantastic. All the acting is really good. That's kind of, if you know anything about this film, that's maybe what you've heard is the film employs like 4 or 5 main actors and then puts them in makeup and changes them to where you don't even know you're looking at them. Primarily, Tom Hanks is the star of the show. Tom Hanks, mayor of Hollywood, American icon. He's a global superstar. I also not only is he a global superstar, the definition of an A-list actor, but I feel that he is an underrated actor. I think he's one of our best working actors. He's one of my favorites. He's a personal influence. I love the work of Tom Hanks. Even in movies that aren't so great, Tom Hanks can make them something else. He raises a film. He, just by being in a film, raises the bar. He's always fantastic. He's super subtle. That's, he's a clown. That's what's so great about him, is he does anything. He's a clown. He humiliates himself freely. He's risen through the ranks. He started out on television, and has now, again, become a global superstar. I think he's highly underrated. I always find something in one of his performances to hold on to. I think he's an amazing actor. And again, he's amazing here because he's an amazing actor. Again, playing a character through every time period, at some points buried in makeup and ridiculous accents that he still somehow doesn't make so ridiculous. So Tom Hanks, Halle Berry, again doing the same thing, basically playing the female lead throughout the 6 storylines. In the Neo Soul, the futuristic but not super futuristic story, she is again unrecognizable as an Asian man. So okay, we've got Tom Hanks, Halle Berry, Hugo Weaving. Pretty much plays the villain in every story. He's great. Hugo Weaving plays a great villain. The way that words roll off his tongue, that's why that guy is going to be employed all of his life, if I have anything to say about it. Hugo Weaving's great. And again, he plays basically Satan in some of the stories, and he's just fantastic. Hugh Grant, also very surprising. In some parts, he's playing that Hugh Grant character, and in the other parts, he's unrecognizable, and he's, just truly filthy sleazebag. And I really thought that he was really well cast, and it showed sides of Hugh Grant, and I think Hugh Grant's a fine actor. It showed signs of Hugh Grant that I haven't seen before, which I enjoyed. Jim Broadbent, also, throughout history. Ben Whishaw, also, through history. There's a couple other names, but again, for as epic... Oh, who is the Korean? Boy, the Korean lady is just... She's huge in Korea. I can't remember her name now. It was like something Bae. Like B-A-E. Bae. I can't remember her name. She's absolutely beautiful. I think she has one of the more difficult roles because she's playing, even though she is in, again, throughout the entire film in different segments and makeup, unrecognizable and such. Her primary function is in the futuristic. She's this synthetic life form, I guess, or at least maybe not synthetic, but totally engineered. Absolutely engineered to where, they wear bombs on their neck and eat themselves and sleep in, closets, basically. Again, they are props. They're synthetic, tools in this futuristic world. And she has to show that emptiness, but yet we see her evolve into this revolutionary figure. And also, I think she had had the most demanding part is because she had to do a lot of nudity, which thank God, because she's absolutely stunning. She's just beautiful, and she looks like she was sculpted from marble. But she has to be nude quite a bit, which I think is always difficult for the actor. So I have to give her big props. I think she kind of stole the show. And I certainly hope we see more from her in the future. What else was I going to say? So I got all the actors. All the acting, again, is great. The storytelling is complex. I mean, again, it's just a complex story. And as a whole, I think it's kind of magnificent. But while you're there and experiencing it, it's going to be, kind of like a struggle. Yeah, and maybe struggle's a too strong a word, but it's, going to be an uphill walk a little bit. And then all of a sudden, again, it's like something clicks, and you're like, wow, I get it. And again, I found the last 45 minutes to be emotionally powerful, and at a point overwhelming. And again, I thought about the film, for the rest of the night. I didn't want to see a film after it. It kind of sapped my movie-going energy. Usually I like to see 2 movies at a time, but I couldn't sit in the theater, after this. I just didn't want to. So again, I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7. I definitely want to see it again, but solely because of those damn ladies for the first hour. I just wish they had never shown up or, left earlier, because I definitely thought that it swayed my opinion of the first half of the film. Or at least, when you're just constantly angry and distracted, and wishing that you could, again, dump water or cause bodily harm to someone, you're just not focusing. You're not in the moment. So I wish that I could go back and again be in that moment, but I don't know if I'm going to do it in the theater. I may wait for home video, so I haven't quite decided, but I'm definitely giving Cloud Atlas a 7, and I've rambled now for 21 and a half minutes, so I will call it quits. Thank you very much.